Wow.
Hello, this is Africa Online Media Corporation with its Sunday broadcast. Today, Sunday, March the 16th, 2025. We are halfway into March, isn't it? And out there, it's, well, almost getting ready to rain this afternoon, as the weather people tell us. We will see. It is also quite cold out there today, even though it is already the middle of March. But all the same, things are going fine. We thank you and we welcome you to our broadcast. It is, as I said, Sunday, March the 16th, 2025. It is the 75th day of the year 2025. That said, we therefore have just 290 days more in this year. Well, not just. 290 is a lot of days, isn't it? As we do the countdown to that period of time, let us remember that March the 16th is No Selfish Day. No Selfish Day. So please, if you are fond of doing that, forget about it today. And it is Lips Appreciation Day. Lips Appreciation Day. These things, you have to appreciate the lips because they help you to speak and to speak the right way so that people understand what you are saying. It is also a day to promote the vision of Cousin Rufu, that is Japanese for world peace through individual happiness. World peace through individual happiness. Yes, we have to be happy so we can give the world a chance to have world peace. But down history lane, March 16 has witnessed many historical events, such as when in 2020, that is 5 years ago, the Dow Jones Industrial Average experienced the single largest point drop in history, falling by 2,997.10 points and at a percentage drop of 12.93%. It was also the second largest percentage drop in history. We've witnessed some of those drops this past week, but we're not going there. The event at that time, now known as Black Monday 2, was a greater crash than the 1929 Black Monday. All the same, we still live, we still survive, but we caution politicians to know what they're doing and what they're talking about to be able to not trigger such drops. In 1995, this was more recent, the United States state of Mississippi formally ratified the 13th Amendment to the Constitution of these United States, thus becoming the last state in the Union to approve the abolition of slavery. It took them a long time. The 13th Amendment to the American Constitution, it should be noted, had been officially ratified in 1865. That abolished slavery. That was just after the Civil War. We will not, however, revisit those historical events. Rather, let us dive directly into our topic of the day in continuation of our marriage series. And the topic today, after you say, yes, I do. Yeah, marriage series, we started with what do you do when before you say I do? Now, yes, I do. After you say it, what next? Some time ago, we concluded the first part of the series on the following note. Marriage is an intimate and complementing union between a man and a woman in which the two become one physically and until death do them part. That was then, 2017 or 2018, thereabout. If that is what our expectation of tying the knot is all about and supposed to be, then certainly one should one should give deep thought to it all before saying, yes, I do. This is so because after saying, yes, I do, there is no more looking back or turning back. That is why, as we learned in the first part of the broadcast that time, The incubation period, not incarnation, the incubation period, call it the prenuptial period or the dating days, should be a classroom in which and during which the lovebird, that is, the couple to be, get to know each other better, less the intimacy part. Yes, they get to know better each person, each other intimately, minus the intimate part of it. So what should we be doing or looking forward to after we say, yes, I do? And after that, what should the newlyweds do from their wedding day onwards? We believe that the couple should pick up the cue from where they left off before getting married. They should therefore cross the I's and dot the T's so that which they did not do or which they did not dot or cut when they were dating. Of course, it is absolutely necessary to work on your new assignment. This should include, but not limited to, discussing working lives and finances, children and parents and grandparents, and the broader family. That is, we are Africans, we have large families, we have extended families. Yes, so we should discuss how relationships should go in those families. The real work of marriage begins only the day after the vows and the rings have been exchanged and the kisses and often the honeymoon have taken place. Reality soon sets in as the newlyweds begin to read for better understanding that the once upon a time stranger in their lives is now each other's life partner. It's now their life partner. In such moments, they should take a deep breath and surrender it all to their creator, in whom I believe they believe strongly. They should be listening to him, that is, the creator, taking every word for what it is, and working closely with their new friend to chart the course that will eventually and for a lifetime lead them to a life together in sickness and in health, in riches and in poverty. Yes, as they undertake that journey, they should have quiet moments together and separately. Forget the blame game and remember that the phrase, I am sorry, is capital, very important. Because when toxic moments come and you don't say I'm sorry, it means you're promoting something else. As you journey on in your new partnership, remember those words from Aretha Franklin's 1967 song, "You make me feel like a natural woman." So, or is it a natural man? Well, if it is the woman, you say natural man. If it is a woman, you say the natural woman. Okay. And because when you were alone and looked out of your window on that rainy morning, on that overnight snow, or on that midday summer heat, you felt so afraid. You felt so insecure. You felt so unshielded and so uninspired. But once he shyly but with determination popped that question and you gleefully said, yes, I do, to something you had wanted all along, but were shy to say, you felt as, well, you were moved and you said, you remembered, you overcame your fears, you cast away your doubts, you found new strength, and you got your soul out of the lost and found closet because you were kind of lost, but now you were finding yourself. So all because his or her kiss cleared your doubts and sowed happiness in your innermost self. All because his or her presence made and makes you feel so different inside. All because you now know that just his or her being there for you empowers you and makes you feel like a natural woman or like a natural man. Yes, after you say, I do, let there be just one thing on your mind. Make each other see bliss and perform an unending moonwalk dance, because for better or for worse, until death do us part. Welcome to the Married People's Club, Never look back because you chose to, but because you thought that it was time that once you put your hand on the plow, you just keep moving forward. So accept your new normal and your new reality. Keep faith because it is the one most enduring thing that makes the world go round. So solidify your relationships. Make sure that you accept him wholeheartedly. And we wish everyone well as we aspire to work hard after saying, yes, I do. The chair of this organization will say a few words and welcome all of us as we get the discussion going. Over to you, Your Highness.
Yeah, so thank you so much. You get better with age. You know, there's only one Asolefan Kemleke in this world, and you cannot be cloned or duplicated. Thank you so much. We've done this topic for 9 years. This March, as a matter of fact, this Sunday makes us 9 years on the air.
Yes.
Yes, the first show was on March 20th,
It was.
2016. And this is March 16th. So unfortunately, our co-anchor is not here. She's on the road, Ambassador Lisa. So it's our weekly contributor, Dr. Crossley. She is on the road, but the show must go on. On behalf of Africa Online Media Corporation, yes, I want to especially appreciate you and welcome you. And to all our viewers, we are streaming on YouTube. We're going to upload it on Facebook. We're going to put the link there. Previously, we were streaming on Facebook, but we switched over to YouTube because it's easier to just copy the YouTube link and put on Facebook. So we want everybody to follow us on our YouTube, like the channel, and share these messages. We've been doing this for 9 years, nonstop on a voluntary basis, you know, and we know we are making impacts, but don't keep this information that we share on this broadcast, on this channel, to yourself. The last Sunday of every month since March 2016, we have tackled a medical topic. That was something that I implemented as chair of this organization, that last Sunday of the month will be dedicated to medical topics, and we have kept it. So we have some dedicated members of our medical squad, Dr. Goji in particular, Dr. B. Tazong, Dr. Delin Nukuna, Dr. Nigeria Nukuna, and a few others. But they are very dedicated, and we'll be honoring some of them come Labor Day weekend in New York, when our sister organization, AfricaOnline, Africa's Brain Bank, has its 6th annual summit and charity board during the Labor Day weekend. So this topic, after you say I do, you know, I was watching something yesterday, near some on WhatsApp, and this guy was chasing the wife down with a baseball bat. Okay, he was chasing her with rage. So the lady saw a beggar and pleaded with the beggar to protect her, to cover her up. You know, I don't know if it looks like it's just a comedy skit, but those things happen. So the beggar protected her. Dr. Crossley, you're welcome. The doctor, I mentioned your name before you came. The beggar protected her and cover her up with his mat and put his legs above her legs so you not know it's a human being. And the husband came and was like, "Did you see a woman running down the street? Blah blah blah." The guy said, "No, I didn't see anybody." He's like, "Oh, I'll give you 200,000 naira if you show me." The guy said, "You give me money?" He said, "Yes." Then he said, "I'll give you 40,000 now, and then after I find her, I'll give you the rest." So the beggar directed him to a wrong place to protect the woman. He collected the money, but directed him to the wrong place. So the guy went, came back, was still in fury, did not see the wife. So the beggar pleaded with him to sit down. He said, "Look, I need to talk to you." And this is a woman that he wedded. We're talking about after you say I do.
Yeah.
I can assure you she did not see this beast in him before she said I do. You know?
Yes.
So I'm sharing this so people know that the real person will show up after you say I do, not before.
That's right.
And it may show up 10 years later, 20 or 30 years later. So be careful. So anyway, this guy told him a story of a young man that hit his wife in anger and the wife never woke up. The wife died. He ended up in prison for 30 years. And when he came back, he had lost everything and became a beggar. And that person was him. So when he talked to this guy, the light bulb went off in this guy's mind, and the guy tossed the baseball bat and said, I hope, I pray my wife come back home. I will love her. Not knowing that the wife was sitting right there.
Right there.
Yeah. So the thing is, don't wait till something bad happened, then you say, had I known. The same person that you are trying to kill after you say I do is the same person that you move mountains to get her to say I do. So it's not a different person, it's the same person. But you need to keep in mind that these are two separate human beings with no blood connection. At least for the most part, blood relatives don't get married.
No.
I know we live in a very complex world these days. So don't assume that after you say I do, everything will be the same, like it was when you guys were dating or during courtship. You need to be prepared for the unknown. However, there are people who say marriage is 50-50. I don't preach that.
No.
Marriage is 100 to 0, 100% to 0.
Yes.
Which means that you, the man, should be willing to give in 100%, even if the wife does not give in anything. And you, the wife, should be willing to put in 100%, even if the man doesn't put in anything. That way, you have zero expectations. Your heart is not broken. If some people may say, well, if one person is putting 100%, the other person will take them for granted. That's why you say for better or for worse. You cannot, where is the scale to measure? Yeah, it's easy to measure the bills. Some people split the bills. You pay the rent, you pay the car note, or they split it. They total all the bills, and then they split it down the middle if both of them are earning income. I don't have any problem with people splitting the bills or the wife helping the husband, because it's actually the husband's responsibility to pay the bills. But there's nothing wrong with the wife helping. However, after you say I do, or before you are going to say I do, just know that after you say I do, things are going to happen. Things that you did not expect, things that you did not see. And there are also situations where some people, they see those alerts, they see those issues or challenges or shortcomings, but they believe that after they say I do, they'll be able to change the person, or the person will change. After the age of 14, somebody's character is already built. It takes divine intervention to change people. People can improve themselves, but if somebody slapped you before you guys got married, after you got married, he will do more than slap you. He will pound you in a mortar as if you were cocoyams. So don't say, oh, I thought after I marry him, when I become his wife. No. You saw the signs. They were there. But my thing is, God does not like divorce. The only time divorce is allowed in the Bible is in case of fornications. But even then, it said there's room for adultery. I mean, a room for forgiveness. To me, adultery or cheating is a red line. There is not negotiable. You cheat, you are out. There's there's nothing to discuss even. Because you cheat once, you're going to cheat again. Because you had this person and you cheated. I don't care if you expose yourself to the devil or you were drunk, you put yourself in that situation. If you do not put your situation yourself in a situation where you get alcohol and your faculties will be oppressed or depressed, you will not have done that. Or if you didn't expose yourself to the devil will not push you into the arms of Jezebel, you know? So to me, that is a no-go area. But Dr. Crossley is on here, and we're gonna hear her side of the story. After you say I do, Dr. Crossley, that's what we are discussing. It's a sequel to 2 weeks ago. After you say I do, that's what we're discussing. The mic is yours.
Oh, hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Sometimes we can hear you, but we're only seeing your back. So if you can shift back a little.
Oh, I can't. I'm driving.
Oh, okay. We're just seeing half of you. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes, I'm driving.
All right.
Yeah, I'm coming back from one of my girlfriends. She's one of those Potomac housewives. And I just love her so much. So anyways, I'm going to invite her to this podcast, to this show, to Her Excellency Dr. Pam's TV program. She knows a lot more about after saying I do than I do. Because I learned a lot from her recently, and I know she would give me permission to speak on her behalf because she really trusts me. And I think not only in marriages, but I think in relationships, even like being a neighbor, just being a person. I think after a person says I do, they really need to continue working on themselves. And I heard Her Excellency mention that in a marriage is 100%. I think a person themselves, for me, I give myself 100%. So that way I have 100% to share with the world, with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And for that reason, that gives me that 100% always gives me an opportunity to continue to increase that. And yeah, it's like even with a job, it's like a marriage. So I give it 100%, but I give myself 100% first. So
Awesome.
yeah, so that I can give. I know I said it 3 times, but I mean, can you imagine an airline pilot? What if he only gave 50%?
Oh no,
While he's up there flying
we
the
don't want to.
airplane.
We don't want to imagine that. That's scary.
Exactly. So you want people, you want that police officer to give you 100%, respect, 100% protection. We wouldn't want the police officer sleeping on the job, or the airline pilot sleeping on the job. So yeah, we want to give 100% wherever we go. Thank you so much for letting me share.
Oh no, Dr. Crosslin, Miss Senior Virginia World, where Virginia is for lovers, like you always say. I love your sweet spirit. I love your dedication. You do so much. And please invite your friend next Sunday. Next Sunday, we'll be talking about divorce and the impact. It's still part of After You Say I Do. It's sequel to this. So bring her on board. We would love to hear her take on this topic. So, Nia Song, you've been married for 1,000 years and happily married to the same woman. So, after you said I do, how did you keep this marriage? We live in a world where the divorce rate in the church is the same as the divorce rate outside the church. So, nobody has the prescription for it.
Nobody has the prescription.
So,
Yes.
Yes, we just have to take bits and pieces and customize it to our lifestyle. Because sometimes you think you know people, and then you wake up one morning, you're like, who in the world is this? How did I get here? Over to you, Niason.
Thank you very much. Yes, I've been married for a long time, Dr. Crosslin. The fact is, to me, I belong to nature. I live with nature, and I'd like to admire nature. So I always say, after you say I do, it is like you've planted that seed. It is like you've planted that tree. Now it is your responsibility to make sure that you water the tree, to make sure it grows, that you ensure that the tree grows. You prune it when necessary, the bad branches, cut them off. So just make sure that you and your partner are in permanent conversation. Communication is very important. Communicate with one another, and if something went wrong, just point it out honestly so that together you find a solution to that. Don't wait until it degenerates, and don't go telling it to your friends when you're having a drink, or go telling it to your girlfriend because you have known her for ages. She's been your best of best of the best. So please keep your family problems in your family. Keep it in your mind. Forget about the people outside, because the more they hear about you complaining, the more they are tempted to tell you things which, if implemented, will instead ruin your marriage. So please, once you say, yes, I do, be ready to ensure that that mustard seed you planted becomes the baobab of success, of achievement, of living together, of being each other's keeper, ensuring that when she falters or when you falter, you accept your guilt, you accept your fault, she accepts her fault, and together we say that those three words, I am sorry. I am sorry. Very, very important. It is very few people say that, but it is absolutely necessary to always remember to say, I am sorry because I did not mean to do it. And when you say, I am sorry, I did not mean to do it, make sure that next time you don't do the same thing. You don't commit the same mistake, or you don't make the same mistake. That is what I can say for now. Dr. Crossley, maybe you inspired after all this, what she has said and what I've said, to continue to tell us more. By the way, if people are wanting to join us, they can always Zoom in. I don't have the link right now, but I have the code 8595 832 25993. And the code is, the link is 5993. If you want to join us and participate in the conversation. Yes.
Oh, definitely. Dr. Vivian Kumba just sent me a message that she would like to weigh in, and I've sent her the link. But
okay.
For anybody else, the Zoom ID is 859-583-25993. That's the difference of Facebook and YouTube.
Yes.
Facebook can do live interaction. YouTube can also. Please feel free. I'm going to put it on the chat box also, so that those who are watching on live on YouTube can
join.
Yeah, I know it will take some time for our people to get used to. Oh, Dr. Vivian, please make sure you like us, and I'm sure you're already following us. That's how you knew it was on there. But please join in. We would like to hear from you. And I know it's evening there where you are, but please join in. We would love to hear from you. While we're waiting for her to join, I want to say something here for those who are Christians. There is something that comes to me, I can consider a prescription from the maker of the marriage and our maker. It's in Ephesians 5 from verse 20 to 25. But I'll just touch on a couple of the verses. In verse 21, it says we should submit ourselves one to another. That's husband and wife. So both of them have to submit. For example, what does that mean? If the wife is the one that knows how to cook and the husband doesn't know how to cook, you, the husband, should not come into the kitchen and try to be the chef or control what she does or tell her what to do. Wife, if the man is the one that fixes the car or changes the tire, don't go and stand there and be telling him, do this, do that, do that. That's my understanding of submitting yourself one to another. But then in verse 22, God goes a step further and say, wives, submit yourself unto your own husbands. Because he knows that women have issues with submission. That's why he went that extra step to say that. And he did not say, wives, submit yourself to every man. There are men, even in the corporate world, that think women should submit themselves unto them. But it did not say women should submit to men. It said wives. So after the woman becomes your wife, then she should submit unto you, like the same way the church submits to Christ. But then in verse 25, it says, men, love your wife. It did not say, wives, love your husband. Because God knows that women normally don't have issues with loving. We have issues with submission. But men have issues loving. And that's where it said the man should love the wife the same way Christ loved the church and gave his life for the church. How many men can protect their wife or will take a bullet for their wife or will? Let's say you guys are on a boat and the boat is about to capsize and there's only one life jacket. Are you going to wear it and ask your wife to climb on your back, or are you going to give it to your wife? That's what we are talking about, you know. So the men are supposed to protect their wives and they're supposed to love them. So this is the closest thing to a prescription. And I believe if both parties do that, their marriage will last. It doesn't mean it will be issue-free or challenge-free. But this is the maker. We all know that the first miracle that Jesus did was at a wedding. in Cana of Galilee. So that's how important when he turned water into wine. Even though some alcoholics have used that as an excuse to drink, he did not turn water into alcoholic wine. For you to have alcohol, you have to undergo fermentation, but that's a different topic for another day. So I just believe that if there's mutual respect, and respect has to be earned, but people need to make a decision that I said I do, I have to stay in it. It's for better or for worse. If you're not going to stay in it, please don't say I do. However, we are not asking you to stay in an abusive marriage. We're going to be talking domestic violence in another show. If your life is in danger, run. Run for your life and seek help. We're not saying fight for a divorce. Run for your life and seek help. If it's not, you cannot come back, you don't feel safe, please don't come back. Because you have to be alive to be in a marriage. Your corpse cannot be in a marriage. Dr. Crossley.
Oh, great. Thank you so much again for this opportunity to share. I would have to say, I heard you mention a lot. One of the things that's near and dear to my heart is respect. And when you said that key term meant so much to me. I'm really huge on respect, like respecting authority, submission, respecting the police, um, respecting the teller at the bank. So, and respecting ourselves. So when we respect ourselves, we will know how to respect other people, for example. And we know what that looks like. For example, I celebrate my birthday. And so I celebrate other people's birthdays. And that's respect. Um, just acknowledging the other person's um, existence. They're not invisible, making them feel comfortable around you. Um, being consistent. And I think after saying I do, I think people know basically what they're getting into. And I know you're going to talk about this next week, but the people who get divorces, sometimes it's not a bad thing. Um, it may be because of their jobs. Maybe one is moving to Nigeria and one is moving to Colombia. So sometimes getting a divorce is not a bad thing. Thank you.
Getting a divorce, well, it's not in my vocabulary. That word is not in my vocabulary. It's not a bad thing, but I personally feel that no, it should not even happen. We should not let it get to that point. We should live our lives in such transparent manner that we will not have room for that word divorce to come in or to even crop up in our minds. We should learn to accept and tolerate one another for who they are, because when we met them the first day, you said, I love you. And then you ask that question, will you marry me? And that person, yes, I will, I do. So once you say I do, accept for better or for worse, until death do your part. That is my take about it. And I believe that when we do that, we will have a better world, a world of understanding, a world of appreciation. Dr. Cross, I see you putting up your finger. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Sure.
Okay, so I didn't say you get a divorce, but in the real world that we live in, it is in the dictionary. I'm not suggesting anyone get a divorce. People get a divorce. It happens. So the important issue is, what can that person do? Because first, even in a divorce, they're divorcing themselves first. Mentally, it's a mindset. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot that goes into it, Professor Niasan. I'm not encouraging anyone, but it happens.
I agree.
So we need to have a real conversation instead of pretending like that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Crossing, yeah, we know that you are not encouraging it. You're saying and that is why when we discuss before you say I do, a lot of these things need to be discussed. You know, even okay, if people are live in different cities or different countries, where are we gonna live after we get married? You know, and there are some people that did not see it coming before they got into the marriage, and somebody got a better job out of the country or out of the continent. What do you guys do? And maybe one of them is not willing to go to that continent, to go live there. So what do you do? I mean, long distance is really difficult, even in dating, let alone marriage, because you cannot be in one continent and your spouse is in another country, or even one country and your spouse is in another country, even one city and your spouse in another city, and then you expect that they will be completely loyal, you know, all the time. There are people that get tempted, you know. So these are things to discuss when people are doing their checklist. Add it there, you know. Okay, so what happens if this happens? So maybe you guys might decide, oh, maybe this is not for us. I want to welcome my sister and friend, Dr. Vivian Kumba, all the way from Gambia. She's our Africa's Brain Bank country rep. Dr. Crossley, this is the amazing lady I was talking about during the World Conference of Mayors meeting, who's going to be educating our girls in the Gambia on the cycle for success and women's issue. So Dr. Kumba was watching on YouTube and she was joining us live. Since it's nighttime in her area, I think we'd like to give her the mic. Dr. Kumba and Ni Asong are from the same village. They speak the same dialect. Dr. Crossley, we just lost Dr. Crossley. All right, Ikong, the mic is yours.
Hello, Pam. I mean, not Pam. Vivian. Zeraful, Conte.
I'm gonna tell Sister Pam that you call Vivian Pam.
I know. Vivian, thank you. Thank you.
Hello.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Yes, I think it's afternoon for you or something. So good afternoon to you both.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I just was watching you on YouTube. And you know, I do marriage counseling. So when I saw the thing says,
are you serious? I did not know that I would have. Okay, go ahead, take it over.
I do marriage I prepare couples and I counsel couples.
Okay,
awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
Under the canopy of the Catholic Church, yes, I do that.
Oh, okay, good. It means we both do that. Go ahead. I didn't know you did
now,
that.
the statement of I do is a very heavy statement because it looks like a single verb of do. But it embodies very many verbs of I will, I must, and I have to. Because it's a commitment. So just like Reverend Pam was saying, one of the problems that arises is ignoring issues that start showing up in the preparation. Adults don't change. So don't say, oh, I noticed that my fiance was this, so I knew that when married he would change. No, he will not change. I knew that my fiance was doing this, but I thought no, but when we get married, she would change. No, she will not change.
Not teach.
Actually, what happens to adults is that what may happen to
I just said that you cannot teach a monkey to climb a tree.
No, you cannot. Just like you cannot straighten a bended tree. A tree that is bended is bended. You cannot.
Yeah.
You cannot straighten it. So when people are infatuated and they think they are in love, they ignore these red lights.
Yeah.
They ignore these red signs. And then into the marriage, when the things start showing up, they're like, this is not how he was, this is not how she was. That's how he or she has always been. You just refuse to see.
That's right.
And one of the challenges we have as children of God, as Christians, is that the Spirit of God in us shows us these things, and we keep the Spirit aside and do what we want to do.
So correct.
And that is very important because when you now get into trouble, when we are now in the stress of, oh, why is he doing this to me? Oh, why is she doing this to me? They will start saying, God, why? No, it's not God, it's you.
That's right.
God has done his part. What we should do, or what we expect our people to do, in the teaching I do, one of the things I raise is the fact that we should learn to take responsibility. Because everything said and done, there's a very basic things that come before you say I do. And when you're saying it, there are basic things on your mind. Love one another, dignify one another, respect one another, and all that. But one of the key things that is left out, like in many other things that human beings do, is taking responsibility for actions and words. People don't take responsibility very easily. In fact, for the most part, people don't take responsibility. They look for who to blame. They always look for where to put it. But you should know, and when people are saying I do, they should know that it's a responsibility they're taking upon themselves. And when you take that responsibility, be responsible for it. Many of them want to complain, oh, my husband was not doing this, but my mother-in-law has. No, don't call your mother-in-law's name. Your husband is who he is from the day you saw him. But you blinded yourself to the flaws and tried to see what you wanted to see. Keep seeing what you want to see. Don't see the flaws. Same thing with your wife. Because when people are saying I do, we usually encourage that before you say I do, try to pray for discernment. Try to pray for the person you are saying I do to. Try to realize that submitting yourself to each other is not burdensome. It's not stupid. It's correct. Yep. You are from two different backgrounds, two very specific and very unique individuals. For you to overlap, there must be some submission.
That's right.
And that submission is both ways.
Thank you.
And that is why I usually call it sacrificial submission. Because you are submitting, you are sacrificing something about your likes and your do's and your don'ts to accommodate your partner. And until people are able to do things like that, it becomes very difficult to overlap. People are very unique. Reverend Palm was talking a while ago about being not blood related. But let me tell you, Reverend Palm, living in Africa, one thing I have learned is that the Fulanis marry cousins.
Yeah, even in the Bali, people used to do that in the past.
Yes, but till today, Fulani marry cousins. That's why in some parts of Africa, especially around the Middle Belt and towards the north of Nigeria, sicknesses like sickle cell have been very difficult to eradicate because of marrying cousins.
Family members.
Yes, so that's it. But even if they are cousins, they are still very separate individuals.
Exactly.
Now, if you love somebody well, then it is worth going in to say I do. And what is love in that sense? Love is a friendship feeling. It's not a sexual feeling. That is where they make the mistake.
Yeah.
Because the person I consider as my friend, there are certain things I will not do.
That's right.
To them. So the starting point for I do should be friendship. Friendship of a genuine feeling of interest in the welfare of the other.
Person.
It's not about what I will benefit or what I will lose. It's about what we all stand to benefit or to lose if we don't do this.
Yes.
So when we get individualistic and worry about our own feelings and worry about our own personal interests, then there is no sacrificial submission. There is no friendship. I do is delicate to say because I do will not last easily. I've met couples who are more than 2 decades in marriage and they're ready to go separate ways.
Even 30 years.
No, I mean, let me talk about my experience.
No, I know.
People have exposed themselves to my counseling, and everything you say, you drill them in all the possible methods available to the process, and somebody is standing their ground and how hurt they are. But if you really find out carefully, it's just their own selfishness. It's not anything else. Most of the time, it's individual selfishness. But one of the problems also that arises, you were narrating the story of the man who had the baton behind his wife. One of the things that also happens is that people don't take responsibility, like I was saying. And one of the things one of the aspects of that is a man who marries because his wife can have economic power. I will say it without any fear of contradiction. A man is the head of his family, is the financial sponsor of his family.
Thank you.
That can be adjusted in modern terms because we can sit down and discuss things and do them.
Yeah.
But a man, to be a man, must take his family into consideration and know that I am marrying because I can take care of a family. And so my finances can do it. If your finances cannot do it, don't marry.
Touchdown. That's exactly what I was saying.
Yes, because just a few days ago, I was having a prenuptial discussion with a couple. And I said to the man, I like the way you sound. You are ready for a family. Because this person has taken his time, has saved some money, has even built a couple of houses, and now says he works for the UN and has been going for very funny assignments, and now says, I was even deployed to go to the Gaza at this time, but I'm not going because I'm ready to build a family. It sounds like it. Yeah, because when people don't do that and start saying, oh, we're in modern times, women are also earning money. I say it without a fear of contradiction all the time. When you want to sit in a marriage or in your home and start asking, after I do, asking your wife, all this noise you are making in this house, what do you bring to the table? Brother, she brings her womb to the table and bears you children. You cannot pay for what a woman's body does in childbearing. I say it with emotion.
Thank you.
I say it with emotion. The Bible injunction says she will bear children in pain. That's her price for that's what she brings to the table in marriage. And the Bible injunction also says, you shall eat from the sweat of your brow.
Yeah.
God did not tell the woman to sweat in her, but he said she should have pains in childbirth, and she is having them. So when young people think that we are now in a modern situation where, if we're in a modern situation, you two go and get pregnant and bear your children. Don't give my daughters the trouble.
They will not survive labor pain, 1 second of labor pains.
Thank you. So let everybody bear their own burden. Let everybody bear their own responsibility. But that said, I still normally say, and it stands to my own reasoning, that we can always negotiate our way through things in friendship and discussion. Not negotiate in a transactional manner, but in a friendly discussion.
Yes.
Because if I say even in parenting, sometimes I have to talk to parents about their children. If you have even a child at home who is 2, 3, 4, 5 years old and can understand conversation, the child can very easily understand their father's financial position and know what the father can do, what they cannot do. The child is the one who will tell people, hey, don't worry, my father doesn't have money. Just leave my father alone. So because the child knows what is going on. So these open discussions, communication and bringing each other to the same level of thinking and understanding is one of the biggest gold pieces in marriage, and people don't use it.
As a
After they say I do, they start saying, I don't have to know how much I earn.
Before you continue, if you want a message not to be delivered, tell the husband to tell the wife, or tell the wife to tell the husband. They will get that message. Continue.
Yes. So when we are able to share with each other frankly, with the undertone of friendship, then it becomes very possible to live a very long numbers of years after we say I do. Because I do is such a commitment that people take it lightly and just say it.
Exactly.
And one of the challenges that follows the people when they say I do is a financial challenge, because we are living in an era when everybody wants to do a big wedding. And those big weddings cost money. We spend the first 5 years of marriage stressing about paying back wedding cost loan.
So true.
And that is a big dividing point I have seen between couples. Because the wife starts saying, he is supposed to have put so much on the table every month. He doesn't do it. He expects me to do it alone. The man starts saying, I thought we could do this, but we're no longer able to do it because this is happening. So why did you go into all that amount of indebtedness to just do a wedding? Why do you have to?
To impress others.
The I do statement is sounds like a very straightforward thing and very simple, but it's very complex. And the complexities must be understood before and during or before saying it and after we say it, like during the marriage. Nia, someone was saying, talking a while ago about saying sorry. When we say sorry in marriage, we should mean sorry. We should not be sarcastic. Oh, okay, you're so angry. I'm sorry. Really?
No.
Or one of them will say, I already said I'm sorry. I've already apologized. What's your problem?
Yeah.
That's not an apology.
That's not an apology. Yes.
So there are those complexities in this whole thing. But saying I do is a very beautiful thing. And it's something we encourage because that's how God wanted. It's a divine plan.
Yeah.
When properly executed, it's beautiful, it's good, and it brings a lot of blessings.
So true.
So I just thought I should make that input.
Oh, no, don't go anywhere. I know it's late there. and next week, we are talking about divorce, next week and the impact on the family. So you need to come back. This is so good. And Kong, I'm so proud of you. I didn't know you even did this stuff. And one of the things that I have seen in marriage counseling, before I go to that, my first wedding, the first wedding that I did was for a white South African and an African-American lady. And so during the marriage vows, I told they had it in a beautiful outdoor in the Galleria, Houston Galleria, the water was beautiful venue. And I told the guy, I said, look, all your money belongs to her and all her money belongs to her. And he looked at me strange. I said, I'm just letting you know. So now is the time, before you say I do, make sure that, because the truth of the matter is, it's the man's responsibility, like Dr. Kumba just said. There's nothing wrong with the wife helping. Even in situations where the wife makes more money than the husband, is not the wife's responsibility. Because what happens is that some women, when they start making more money than their husband, they assume the position of the head of the family. And that also creates schism in the marriage and has led to divorce. And we know of cases where a guy will go to Africa and bring a young girl, even from the village, put them through nursing school. When they start earning more money than the man, they start wearing the pants or they think they are the head. One thing they fail to understand is that if you don't have a head, you're going to be confused. You're not going to find your way. Just imagine a human being without a head. Where are they going to go? Your head has your eyes, your nose, your mouth. So the husband is the head. Even if you make more money than him, let him be the head. And men need to know it's their primary responsibility. But there's nothing wrong with the wives helping with the bills. It's not the wife's responsibility, but there's nothing wrong with the wife helping. People need to keep that in mind. Yeah, sir.
Yes, I go straight to Dr. Pam, because Dr. Vivian. So please,
Vivian. Okay.
Sorry, I keep saying Pam. Vivian, please, Dr. Vivian, please go right ahead and continue with what you have, because your hour is late. You may want to.
I know.
Retire.
No, she's strong. Bangwa Pekin, she's gonna be on this show today.
Yes.
No, my papa is Pekin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just remember to keep the link that Dr. Pam sent to you. Make sure you keep that link.
Yeah, we are here every Sunday. I mean, you've been on this program multiple times.
No, she has been here many times.
Yes,
so.
yes.
So go ahead. Go ahead and finish what you have.
One of the things that is important for people who are getting married is to discuss their finances before they really get married.
Yeah.
People may have promotions and may pick more jobs or better jobs during the marriage, but before people get into marriage, they should really know. Because this issue of finances is a big challenge in marriages. I'm going to give you an example of a family that I know that have been married for almost 50 years. And how did to chime in on what you were saying, Dr. Pam, that a woman can help. A woman must help. There's no way she cannot help. That's why she's the man's companion. When God created, when God created, every day he said, oh, all I created is good. When he created man, he didn't say it is good until he said, let me give him a companion and a helpmate.
It's not good for him to be alone.
It's not good for him to be alone because he saw. And a woman is really a helpmate for real.
Yes.
Now, I have this couple that I know, which is an exemplary couple for my work. that they have been married for nearly 50 years.
Wow.
And what they did is that at the beginning of their marriage, the man sat his wife down and said, "This is my salary. This is how much I earn. So we need to, even though we're just two of us, divide this into different budget heads in the family."
Okay.
So they pick up an envelope and write their transport to go to work, put money inside. Feeding for the family, put money inside.
Right.
Since we don't have children, there's not much responsibility. Savings, put money inside. As children started coming, the transport and the feeding started increasing, savings started reducing and all that. So every item on the, even electricity, water bill, utility bills, put money in an envelope. And then after he has done that, it's handed over to, it's left for the wife to do what she wants to do with it.
Manage it.
So if my salary is 10,000 francs, well, I'd like to talk about francs. And then we put 2,000 in an envelope for transport, which all of us will use, including me, the man himself, earning the salary. And then we put another 3,000 in another place for feeding. And you yourself, you have seen that my money is finished. So what will you be looking for after that?
Exactly.
So where 2,000 ends up not very enough for transport, it becomes automatic that you will augment, but you know where my own money has gone.
Exactly.
As a wife. But the man who wants to put his money in his chest pocket and go down the road and sit in the bar and tell his wife, my salary is up, my salary is down, that one is irresponsibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those are the problems that arise in marriage. Men think that they are still enjoying the company of their friends before they got married. They had their youth groups that they used to be in. They continue to enjoy those groups. And therefore, they tend to behave towards marriage irresponsibly. If you have friends, it's not a problem. It's not a big deal. Your wife should know that you need 1,000. Excuse me. You need 1,000 while you are doing the budgeting to go gallivant with your friends. It's not a problem.
Oh, let me tell you this, Dr. Kumba. One of my nephews call it blow money. They say, "Auntie, this is my blow money for the month." I'm telling you. So they have in their budget, they have money that he can blow however he wants. You need to drink some water.
Blow money.
Yeah, go ahead and drink some water, please.
Yeah, I will.
While we're waiting for you, I'm going to share a few things. Sometimes, you know, like I said, we had discussed this before you say I do, but sometimes
after you say I do.
No, I said we had discussed before you say I do. Now after I say I do, sometimes everything does not get discussed. So it's not everything that comes up. That is covered in that before you say I do. So after you say I do, now some of these challenges start coming up. One example is people that have been married before, or if one person has been married before, they are coming into this marriage. They came into this marriage without breaking what the Bible calls soul ties. So now you are getting married to this man. The man is at the altar. There's you, the man, and the ex-wife or all the ex-girlfriends lined up who are not visible to the audience, but they are there because the soul tie was never broken. And then the man starts manifesting after the wedding, and you're wondering what happened. Start comparing you with the ex-wife or ex-girlfriends or ex-lovers or whatever. So after you say I do, when those things spring up, please don't suffer in silence. Don't call your sister. Don't call your pastor. Talk to God and talk to your partner. Because there was a time when I would tell people go to the clergy. But with everything that's been happening, you know, I'm not mentioning any denomination. Sometimes you're taking your marital problem to somebody who has a lot of baggage or unresolved issues with God themselves. And those questions will pass on to you. God has a direct line. He doesn't need an intermediary. His line is never busy, you know, and he's never, you know, out of range. Whether you have connectivity or not, or Wi-Fi or not, you'll be able to reach him. Take it to him. Prayer is very, very powerful. And if you were praying for a spouse before you got that spouse, don't stop praying. As a matter of fact, the prayer needs to intensify after you get that spouse, because the devil doesn't like to see family. The family is the basic unit of the community. So it comes in with confusion, and all kinds of stuff. We're at the top of the hour. Let me go to play the anthem, and we'll continue this topic.
Yeah, while Dr. Kumba has a sip of water.
Yeah, you guys bear with me. I'm using my old computer. I hope this is not letting me share the sound. All right, Nia, so you let me know if you can hear.
Yes, it's playing. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, there it goes. Yeah.
Okay.
Africans for Africa. 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 Africans have many bright ideas. If only you let us share. If you really want to know my history, please come, sit down, listen to my story. God gave us a wisdom. He guides our footsteps, makes us shine and transform. Hey, as one people, with so many cultures, yet indeed we are one. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Let us all unite behind AfricaOnline Media Corporation. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. It's time to come together, promote awareness, progress, and solution. Hey, Africans for Africa. Africans for Africa. Africans for Africa. All Africans can rally for a common cause, to believe without judgment in what our brother does, to identify and resolve our challenges, to allow each other's ideas without regard to standards, as one people with so many cultures. Yes, indeed, we are one. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Let us solve all the problems plaguing our continent. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Let us empower Africans in and out of Africa. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. AfricaOnline Media Corporation, that's a good way to start. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. They have all the resources we need to benefit our society. Oh. Education for everyone. If we believe prosperity for Africans, if we believe medical facilitation for Africans, if we believe stand up, Africa, yes, for Africa. AfricaOnline Media Corporation, that's a good way to start. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Africa is the cradle of civilization, the motherland. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. We were enslaved not because we were weak, but because of our hospitality. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Jump on the Africa Online Miracle Jet. Don't be left behind. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Together we shall succeed. Together we will win. Stand up, Africans. Let's sing Africa. We are writing our own story. The truth, and we shall tell it to the world. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. No more lies. Africans own Africa.
That's right. No more lies. Africans own Africa. We own 100% rights to that song. I wrote that song 9 years ago, and it was composed by one of our young men, DJ Skipper, aka Jerry Cleo, our co-anchor. That's her favorite part of this show, listening to that song. So just a couple of announcements. I need a song. You need to still speak to our French people. I notice you haven't been doing that lately, but next week we're gonna be doing a sequel to this because March is our marriage series. We're gonna be talking divorce, and its impact on family members and non-family members, including society. So Dr. Kumba, we're expecting you here, not just for that. You have a lot to say about a lot of things. As a matter of fact, when I was uploading some of our old programs in 2019, I came across the program that you did in malaria. I'll be sending that to you. I know it's on Facebook. I'll send that to you. I came across it today. I actually uploaded it today. For the first 9 years of this show, this March made us 9 years on the air. In 9 years, there was only one Sunday that none of us could make it. So I'm very proud of that record that we've been transforming lives for 9 years. But we've discussed that topic, even this topic, the marriage series. We've done that since 2016, and we're going to continue doing this. We are looking for student interns. Dr. Crossley, I know you have a lot of networks. We need some students, preferably students of African descent, but we'll take any student to assist us with this program, especially our social media. The information we share here is very premium. And the last Sunday of every month for the past 9 years, we've discussed a medical topic. So, and we're going to continue. So, another announcement, our sister organization, Africa's Brain Bank, has its 6th annual summit and charity ball in New York City, Labor Day weekend, August 28th through September the 1st. I'm going to put the link on the chat box. We don't sell tickets at the gate. We're going to have some heavyweights there, including some people from Wall Street and some celebrities from Nollywood and Afrobeat. So take a vacation, make a date, and come to New York. Your life will never be the same again. Our events are so different. They're organic. It's quite an experience. Even the speakers always say so. So come, learn, share, network, meet different people, have fun. Over to you, Niason.
Thank you very much. There's very little I can say in the French language because I did not prepare for that for these announcements. That's but all the same, I just want to say that Africa Online Media Corporation a besoin de vous. Aidez-nous à vous aider parce que nous sommes là pour vous. Merci beaucoup et à la semaine prochaine. Mais pour aujourd'hui, on va continuer encore pour quelques trentaines de minutes. So, back to you.
No, Niason, you go ahead. I'm trying to pull the link,
Okay. That being said, I don't see Dr. Kumba. I don't know if she's feeling better now because she was coughing a little while we were playing the anthem.
If she's on. No, she's on there. She's on.
If you are, please go right ahead. What next should we do to ensure that we keep it going once we say, I do? After we say, I do, what next? What are some other things that we have not touched on that we need to touch on to know and to be able to continue supporting people out there who are facing such problems?
Yes, after we say I do, there are a lot of things we can still do. Before I say anything new, I want to go back to what Reverend Pam just said and elaborate on it a little more. She was saying that if you were praying for a partner you should continue praying even after you say I do. Now, that's so capital. That is so capital. So one of the pillars of the teaching I do for couples is family prayer. Because there is nothing more strengthening than praying together. That's why the English adage says the family that prays together stays together. So people think that, oh, don't worry, my wife is the one who goes to church. No, my wife is into all these church things. That's the statement you hear from the men. My wife is into all they call it church things. My wife is into all these church things. But please, your wife may be into church things, but we want to say that the real thing that should be is you people should be praying together. She may do church activities more than you, no problem. But praying should not be a wife's duty or a wife and her children. I have a friend who used to tell me, Vivian, you don't even know what my husband does. After I have hammered it into his head that we must pray together, we must pray, then he will come and sit in the sitting room. The children are all sitting there, want to pray. He starts snoring. As they say, they are Catholics. As they start the sign of cross in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, he falls asleep. Prayer can continue. He is sitting there. I met another family. They pray the rosary together. They are Catholics. In the evening, they pray the rosary together almost every day. Then the father says to one of the sons, boy, help daddy to do daddy's share today because the leading rotates. When he comes to his own age, his daughter or his son has to help him to do it. He will. We don't understand that every divine institution, the family is the first divine institution.
That's right.
And every divine institution is a warfare with the devil. St. Paul has told us we are not fighting with humans, we are principalities and powers.
We wrestle not against flesh and blood.
We wrestle with principalities and powers. And from all indications, even from the teachings and writings that I have read in concerning marriage within the Catholic Church, there is no human institution under the demonic attack that the family is none. The family is highest attacked. Because the family is essentially a propagation of God's creation. It's essentially the institution through which God is replicating himself as he were, like through procreation. The devil is not happy with that. How do you think we got to same-sex marriages? Because the marriage is working, because the family institution is intact. It's not intact. It's not intact. And so if people are getting into marriage, they should know that not to scare them, but the statement I do means I will be a soldier of prayer.
Exactly.
I will be a soldier of prayer. Even if you say, just all you need to do is it's really at the beginning of marriage, companionship, just hold hands in the evening and commit yourself to your maker before you lie down together. That's all. You don't need to, we're not saying that carry the Bible and read 10 hours a day. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that just lift your heart to him and commit to him and invite him to be with you and you go to bed. End of story.
Yeah, let me jump in here. This thing is so important because I've been in ministry now for almost 30 years. There are people, especially some women, they misunderstand serving God. All the stuff you're doing in church is not what's going to take you to heaven. And God cannot ask a wife to serve him in disobedience to her husband. What God has put together, God cannot put asunder. People need to get this straight. Don't neglect your husband and be sleeping in the church. Monday through Sunday, you have a program in church. That's not of God. I am sorry. God is not the author of confusion. He's not the author of problems. He brought you guys together. Even if God did not bring you guys together, you can still dedicate yourself to him and invite him to be the base of your marriage. A lot of marriages have collapsed because the wife is always doing something in church. Monday is fellowship, is choir practice, is Bible study, is women's days, is children's days. And there are some wives that worship their pastors or their fathers, their reverend fathers, more than their husband. you see there's an event, a church event, the wife is going to serve either the pastor or the priest and have not even served her husband. So when you are doing these things, you say you are serving God. Believe me, you need to and be sure God called you to do what you are doing in the church. Not everything that you're doing in church is of God. And if you are not doing what he called you to do in the church, you are in disobedience. So don't make God look bad by neglecting your husband. On the other side, there are some men who are heads of churches or deacons or pastors or whatever. They neglect their wives and children. It's either going to this church member's house to pray, do deliverance. Somebody has a problem, everybody's calling the pastor. But the pastor has a wife and children. He has not attended to them. So there has to be a balance. So, and this prayer thing, God understands every language. You don't have to get on your knees. You don't need to lay down flat. You don't need to go into a corridor. Just talk to him. He will hear you. Talk to him. Even when you are driving, talk to him. You notice when the plane is shaking in the air, I've never heard anybody call Muhammad or any other person's name. They're calling Jesus. They're calling God. They're praying to God when there's danger. Sometimes we treat him like McDonald's. You drive through and collect when you need to eat. You pick up a hamburger. Some people remember God when they're in trouble. They need him. They go to him, and then when something happens, they blame him. Even though he doesn't bring any evil to us, he may allow certain things to happen because he has the power to stop everything. But marriage is very important. Nobody in a marriage, husband or wife, should make God look bad. Please, God is innocent. He will never do anything to scatter your marriage. Yeah. So stop using his name. You are serving God and neglecting your husband and children to make him look bad and blame it on him.
And they tend to forget that there is one of the commandments that requires that we don't use his name in vain.
In vain, exactly.
If you're calling his name, call his name purposefully because you intend for him to answer you back. That prayer, you may not see the answer tomorrow, but it comes in one way or the other. So please don't call his name in vain.
I think we need to hear from Dr. Crossley.
Yes. So that's right. I was going to call on her. Dr. Crossley, please unmute. And
Dr. Ogoji must be delivering babies. I would have loved to hear his take on this.
So Dr. Crossley, say something before we go back to our
Hi, thank you all for this opportunity. I'm still stuck in traffic here, and the car in front of me has a bumper sticker that was making me laugh, and I was hoping you guys wouldn't call on me because I almost passed out because I was trying to figure out why would that person have this type of bumper sticker, and I was just thinking it could only be for two reasons: a medical reason, or like if they're in martial arts or sports. And they have a squirrel on there, and it says protect your nuts. So it was just like, why? Okay. So anyway,
it's relevant to this topic because we're talking about after you say I do. So does the husband need to protect himself? I'm not going to use the same word, you know.
That too, right?
You guys remember the story of Loretta Bobbitt in Houston, the one that cut off the husband's penis? So don't worry about that bumper sticker. He's trying to give you some material for this show. Go ahead.
I know, and it's an Uber Lyft driver. So I'm like, God. You know, and those Uber drivers are smart. I everyone that I have had have been totally smart. I love smart people. That's why I continue to come every Sunday because it's so full. You guys are so full of wisdom because I know zero about marriage counseling because, you know, there's with technology, the way it is today, you know, there's same-sex marriage. I think it's still legal. I don't think they've changed that yet. And just, you know, it's just so different now than 20, 30 years ago, the way marriages were. And even like the Catholic priests and the nuns who don't want to get married because they are married already, So in a sense, yes, it is spiritual. And then for them, I'm not Catholic, but for them, it's spiritual, I think, where I guess adultery would be to turn away from God or marry. I don't know. As I said, I know zero about marriage counseling, but what I do know is common sense. And anyone on any topic would want to increase their wisdom and their knowledge and their understanding and maturity level. So, and spiritual level. Who wants to say the same, right? Even in a marriage, they want to improve on their marriage. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and keep your eyes on the road. And thank you for making us laugh with the Uber driver. You know, and that brings me to a point where after you say I do, there are some men who don't want to go home, and there are some women who don't want to go home. Because home is not really a home, it's just a house, or things have changed. And when you find yourself from the first sign of that, start praying. Because prayer will move mountains. Pray until something happens. That's what push stands for. Yes. You cannot stop praying. Your pastor cannot fix the problem. Your sister or brother cannot fix the problem. Your neighbor cannot. Only God can fix the issue. So we need to really stress this issue of praying. It is so important. And if the other spouse doesn't want to hold hands with you to pray, leave them alone. Intercede for them. Let God touch them. And they will come, they themselves will start leading the prayer. Because there are some people that push this prayer thing down the throat of their spouses. It's not by force. Salvation is an individual thing. On Judgment Day, you will stand for yourself and he will stand for himself. And your children will stand for themselves. It's an individual thing. It's your personal relationship with Christ. It has nothing to do with doctrines or man-made doctrines or denominations. There are no denominations in heaven. You go to hell, you will see all kinds of denomination there. So this prayer thing, you can intercede, but don't breathe it down your husband. Because there's some men that really want to worship God, they want to go to church, but the way their wives are pressuring them, the tactics they are using just turns them off. So Dr. Kumba will go to you, then yes, I think we'll be close to a last word.
Yes.
Yes, Reverend Pam, thank you. What you are saying is very capital. People should understand their roles. It's just like, even when we're students, you know, when people come to me to preach, I say, no, please, we are medical students, let's go and read.
Exactly.
Do your job according to your title. You are a wife, be a wife. You are not a church warden or a church pastor. You are a wife, be a wife, and a mother, if you are a mother. I agree with you 1,000,000%, because that is part of the stress in families. Yeah. But let me go back to what Dr. Crossley just said in terms of empowering yourself. Who doesn't want to be better? Exactly. In terms of trying to be better, when you say, after you say I do, one of the things that is incumbent on couples to do is to understand each other's weaknesses and strengths. Good. Learn them and learn how to use them. Not against each other, but for the strength of your relationship.
Correct.
That's one thing. The second thing is that the second thing to learn is to actually go put yourself in a position where you have a plan on how to, let me say, keep your relationship strong. You know, like somebody used an analogy of when you buy a car, you have plans on how you maintain your car.
Exactly.
When you say I do, make plans on how you will keep doing.
Exactly.
Don't just say it for a one-time show and get out. When you are saying it, you are already engaging yourself to plan how to keep it going. Because once you say I do, it's really, really not expected that we should be coming back to it. It's not expected that we should be getting stronger and stronger, not coming back to worry, why did I say, why did I not say? Oh, we want to do that, talking about divorce and all that. Those are things that should really not even come in. But they are so rampant these days because we are not working on the relationship. We are working on our ego most of the time. instead of working on the relationship. So my partner can do this, cannot do this. Don't put that close to my husband. He will not even have energy for that. Don't take it to my husband. A woman should be able to say that. Oh, my wife doesn't have this kind of strength. Don't take it to her. A man should be able to say that. So understand each other's strengths and weaknesses and their values and be able to push that up into the relationship alongside with your own. And at the same time, learn how to maintain your relationship. And by saying that, what I mean is that you play your role properly. You know what is expected of you. You have children in the house. You go and spend. A Kali woman will go for morning mass at 6. Leave the house at 6 o'clock. Go for morning mass. After mass, clean the church. After cleaning the church, go and see whether father needs something. You are coming to the house at 11 o'clock. How did your husband go to work? How did your children go to school? You don't know. That's an abomination.
That's true.
That's an abomination. And so everything said and done, people should just, in the preparing to say I do, try to understand each other. When you say I do, learn what your role exactly is and how you can keep this I do statement you have gone to make and the commitment you have taken, how you can keep the flame alive.
And keep
It
doing.
is not, I repeat it is a friendship thing. It is not an erotic affair. It's a friendship thing more than anything else.
Exactly.
Yet when the friendship breaks down, even the intimacy will break down.
Yeah.
So the friendship is the first thing. It's good to keep friendship, and keeping friendship means understanding each other properly and respecting each other, worrying about each other, being each other's keeper, and not being careless about what each other needs or can do, and understanding the person's strengths. Don't expect from somebody what he or she cannot provide.
And remember that geography, if I can call it that, that physiognomy changes. The woman will put on weight after giving birth to so many children, the anatomy, then the boobs will fall, and you will start complaining about, this is not how I met you. No, please accept the geographic changes in that structure that you got into your life.
Okay, Nia, you took part of the stuff I'm going to say, but I like the angle you took it. So we may extend the show for a few minutes, but I want to say a couple of things. Since you brought that up, one of my colleagues, a pharmacist in Houston, they were in an argument, and the husband threatened to take her back to her parents. He said, no problem, I'll gladly go back to my parents, but you have to put me back the way you met me when you married me.
Good.
So when you met me, my breasts were up. I didn't have a stomach. My stomach was flat. After giving birth to 4 of your children, I don't look the same. And that's what she told him. He said, I'll be glad if you can put me back. Most of us know this Tyler Perry's movie, Why Did I Get Married? I don't know if it's part 1 or 2, where Jill Scott gained so much weight. The husband was humiliating her, even in public. Started sleeping with her best friend who was skinny. But then she met this sheriff that walked with her, W-A-L-K, and also walked with her, W-O-R-K-E-D. And she transformed. So if your wife puts on weight after bearing children for you, don't degrade her. Don't disrespect her. Don't put her down. Walk with her. If she eats puff-puff in the morning and before going to bed, tell her, sweetheart, you can just eat the puff-puff in the morning. You don't have to eat in the evening, and reduce the amount. Or maybe you should turn into eating Accra beans. That's made out of beans instead of flour. Walk with your partner. If your husband develops a pot belly, don't start making fun of him, because you yourself will change. See how you guys can, if he's drinking a lot, or let him know beer has alcohol, a lot of calories. See how you can adjust the habits, whatever the causative agents were or triggers. Maybe he's depressed, he turns to alcohol, or maybe your wife is a comfort eater. So that is so important. But there are some things I want to talk about that will show up after you say I do, that you probably did not know before you said I do, because it's hard unless you are living with that man. Some of their habits, especially personal hygiene habits, you may not know until after you say I do. I've seen couples that fight over toothpaste. The man or the woman is pressing the toothpaste from the middle instead of from the bottom. Something so trivial can create problems in a marriage, you know? And then there are some people that don't flush the toilet well, or they don't flush the toilet and make sure everything goes down. and the other spouse has to come and see it, and that is disgusting. There are some men that throw their socks. I personally don't clean up behind adults. I don't. I believe every adult should clean up behind themselves. I'll clean up behind a child, but not an adult. And then, you know, there are some people, maybe this person snores and you did not know before you got married to. You guys, there are solutions for snoring now. There are devices you can put on your nose. And some couples that have been married for a long time, what they decided to do was that when it's time to go to sleep, I'm not talking about when it's time to make love. When it's time to go to sleep, they sleep in separate rooms, just so that the other partner can sleep well and not be kept up. Because the person who is snoring is asleep, and the other person is the one that suffers. So these kind of things are going to show up after you say I do. But when it comes up, instead of calling your girlfriend or somebody else and be complaining about your husband's habit, talk to your wife, talk to your spouse and say, honey, I don't like it when you press the toothpaste from the middle instead of from the bottom, you know, because when you press it from the middle, you're going to end up wasting a lot of toothpaste, but you press from the bottom, you get most of it out, you know, those things like that. Or say, when you flush the toilet, please stand there and make sure the toilet flushes before you leave. Or for a man, make sure you lift up the seat before you pee. So your wife don't have to come and clean pee on the thing. Though these kind of things, these are just some simple things that are going to happen or be made manifest after you say I do. And these are things that can be sorted out. It's just communication. And is the way you deliver the communication. Don't bully the other person. Don't shout. Just and know what time you can talk to them. Because some people, when they are busy doing something, you're talking to them, it's coming in one ear, going out the other ear. So I don't know if Dr. Kumba wants to weigh in before we go to Niasan for the last word or not.
Not really, not much more to say. In fact, you're putting it only too well. If I wanted to say something, it would just be to emphasize the need to learn how to do these things. Learn your communication, learn what it takes to be each other's friend.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. Dr. Crossley, if you're still with us, we will start the last word with you. Have your last word as we begin to wrap up for today.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Professor Niasan, and all the doctors here and all the listeners globally. And I just want everybody to be happy, and let's all work together and make this world a better place. Thank you. That's my last word.
Thank you very much.
Invite your friend next Sunday for the program. Yeah. This show is unscripted, and that's what I like about this show. It's very authentic. It's unscripted. Yes.
Your Highness, we want Dr. Kumba to give us her last word at this point.
Sure.
Well, thank you for having me, even though it was a bit impromptu. But when I was
very welcome.
I could not have let it pass when I realized that it was this kind of topic, because these topics that relate to health and to family life are very dear to my heart. Mm-hmm. And like Dr. Crossley just said, let's just do what all of us should put hands on deck in every little corner that we are, and try to make life better for each other, for others, for the community. Especially, my plea is to work hard on family life, on this divine institution that God put in place, an institution for happiness and joy in his people. Whatever we can do, let us not even hesitate, but just do our best. And we are grateful that we can be here, and we say kudos to our listeners who are hearing. Those who are following this program, don't learn only for yourself. When you learn something, share. There is a lot of joy and love in sharing, so that we all get to a certain point where something is better for somebody.
Exactly.
Thank you so very much. All right. That being said,
thank you very much. I don't know the last part of that.
It's all right.
Still, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, Your Highness, it's your turn to say your last word.
Yes, I am so glad. I love this show because it was unscripted. I didn't even know Dr. Kumba was going to be on. And Dr. Kumba, we need you every Sunday because you're so smart. I've known you for more than 40 years. I know how smart you are, you know, and I know you have a servant heart. And thank you for what you're doing. First of all, you are our country rep for Gambia since 2019. You've been on this program multiple times. Thank you so much. And thank you for what you're teaching the girls. It's to 10 in Gambia, and you stayed up late to do this. Thank you so much. I want to thank our viewers, but I also want us to keep marriages in prayers. To pray. It doesn't matter why you guys got married or how you guys got married. The bottom line is that you are married, and please stay married. The grass is not greener on the other side. When you get to the other side, you will realize that where you left was even greener. So let's just keep marriages intact. If it's not working for you, there's no point spending the rest of your life in misery. Everybody deserves to be happy. But I believe that if you ask God to intervene, he will intervene. Yeah, son.
Thank you very much. And in whatever we do, we should remember always that we did not marry the beauty, we married the character. Thank you very much. Enjoy the weekend, and let's see next Sunday with divorce, which is a word I don't have in my vocabulary. Thank you very much, and bye for today.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Kumba, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. We are grateful.